mandible doesn't move. If you put something in, put an upper appliance in and you lock the maxilla, now you disturb cranial function. You got one person here, back here, who's got braces on the maxilla. They got the damn thing all locked in and screwed up.
Except there's one dentist that presented that paper first. If you remember, I was the first person to wear it, kind of flex the upper, and it actually allowed cranial motion.
Yeah, there is, Gerald Smith. He has a little pistol thing he puts in there.
Well, there's John Barry, but he had a little different thing.
Okay, well, there are some appliances now that you can use to be able to expand the jaw. And I can't remember the name of that thing. Bionic. It's got a little screw in there. And you can take the maxilla and draw it out. They say there's not enough room for the teeth. It's not that there's not enough room for the teeth, it's just that it didn't grow. And so dentistry's going in, pulling, extracting the teeth, and constricting. Just lock the cranial bones down even more. Matter of fact, the Cranial Mandibular Society in Atlanta here, they're all into functional dentistry. The whole group is pushing functional dentistry. And they had a research project at one time, and they were finding all the symptomatology. They had these people come in that had set symptomatologies, syndromes. All these people had 4 bicuspid extractions of orthodontics. A friend of mine up in Pennsylvania, Gerald Smith, when he gets a case like that, he goes in and uses a bionator, expands the jaw, and then puts an appliance in there to separate the teeth, and he sticks the teeth back in and recreates what should have been there. But it takes time. So what they do is they take, with the idea behind an appliance, if this is up here, what they do is they bring it down into where it's on the disc. And then they put a bite plane in there to that dimension so that you cannot close beyond that level. That's great. It all depends on why is that thing there for the first place. Do you have a category 2 that has moved the temporal bone and its relation to the mandible? Is that's what's causing this to come off the disc? I mean, if you get a lot of contraction here on the mandible, and every time you go to eat, you may end up displacing the head back here. If you got a lot of category 2, and that's spasms, anterior temporalis, you're going to have a tendency to fall off the back end of the disc. Suppose the maxilla is torqued. Suppose this dimension right here is now up here. Now for these teeth to hit to chew, you've got to drive the condyle up here. So, you know, why did it come off the disc? Yes, sir?
Where does the biplane go, on the lowers or the uppers?
It should go on, I always use lower. Unless they're going to be using a bionator to do some other things. But to put a restricted upper appliance in, you lock the maxilla. How are you going to fix it? You fix it, they put the damn thing in, screws it up again. You can never fix the cranium. You can never fix the pelvis. But the bionator is, matter of fact, the bionator fits in the, you look at the plane with the teeth. This is the upper jaw. So you got the hard palate. Whoops. You got that anterior portion. And then here's the soft palate. The bionator fits in here. And it's got a portion here with a screw through it so that you can spread it this way. And then it also has a piece here that can be screwed this way. So you can actually move this anterior because you have a bit of a sutural area there. Or you can separate it. Now, if you look around or check with your standard process distributor or a few others, you can get a film was made at the Pottinger Institute. And this is way back when they had TV sanitary. And this was out in the Southwest, and Pottinger, passenger saucer, the upper thoracic from TV. Even they were doing research on TV, and they kept cats in the laboratory. And they were looking at the cats outside the sanitarium. They were living in the garbage, food scraps from the sanitarium. And they're amazed at sickly looking cats. And yet their cats look good. So they were just curious. So they took their cats and they started feeding them the food scraps from the sanitarium. And from 1 to 2 to the 3rd generation, about the 3rd generation, all these cats couldn't walk, they couldn't climb. Usually you throw a cat in the air and its nervous system will turn the head and then turn the body. They'll come down on all fours. Neurologically, there's no integration. The other thing they noticed is each generation, as the malnutrition kept going, that they kept having more and more and more, or less and less development of the maxillary arch, to a point of a cleft palate. Then they took these cats with a cleft palate, loss of development of the maxillary area, and some of these cats were falling. Neurological integrity was shot. And then they started feeding them the food from the research area, where they were super feeding these cats, nutritional. And then watched from generation to generation, and watch it go back to full maxillary development. Now, in practice, as you get kids, you're going to notice you're going to treat families where there's 3, 4, 5 kids. And if you look at the first kid, hopefully, you will see a beautiful development of the upper maxillary arch. Lovely. As you watch the kids go through, the last kid will usually be the runt of the family, will have very closed maxillary arch development, overlapping the teeth, very narrow face. And that's because each child the mother has, the reserve capacity of nutrition is being knocked down lower, lower, lower. You will hear women come in and they will tell you, gee, after the 2nd child, the 3rd child, man, I've been sick, haven't been able to get wrong, the doctors can't find anything wrong with me, I'm fatigued and tired all the time, they give thyroxine and everything else trying to jack them up. And this is from the chronic malnutrition syndrome. A good, easy, nice name for malnutrition is hypoglycemia. And I will tell you this, I'm having a very, very tough time treating kids anymore because, and I hate to be general, I hate to say it, all girls develop malnutrition at about 14, 15 years of age. Every damn one of them goes on a diet. I don't care if they're this big. They are on a diet because everybody else is on a diet. Now this means you only eat once a day at McDonald's and go to French fries. Now, I know I'm not picking